Every morning, like clockwork, the 7:12 train would pull into the station. And every morning, he would be there. Same spot, second car from the front, right by the window. He had this quiet intensity about him, always lost in a book, the pages worn and loved. His coffee cup, a simple ceramic one, not a disposable paper cup, would steam gently in his hands. I never learned his name. To me, he was just the man on the morning train, a familiar, comforting part of my daily ritual. I'd find my own seat a few rows back, pretending to scroll through my phone, but my eyes would always find their way to him. I noticed the little things, the way his brow would furrow in concentration, the slight smile that would grace his lips when he read something amusing, the worn leather satchel that was always by his side. He had this old soul vibe, a calmness that seemed to ripple out and soothe the chaotic morning commute for everyone around him. We never spoke. Not once. But we had our own silent conversation. Sometimes, he'd look up from his book just as I was looking his way. Our eyes would meet for a fleeting second, a spark of recognition, before we both quickly looked away. A faint blush creeping up my cheeks. It was a silly, unspoken crush, a little fantasy to brighten up my mundane mornings. I'd imagine what he did for a living. A professor, a writer, maybe an antique book restorer. The possibilities were endless and far more interesting than my own reality of spreadsheets and deadlines. This silent routine went on for months. He was a constant, a fixed point in my ever-spinning world. The rhythm of my day started with the sight of him. Then one Tuesday, he wasn't there. I scanned the platform, my heart doing a little nervous flutter. Maybe he was just running late. But the train doors hissed shut, and his usual spot remained empty. The whole ride felt off, unbalanced. The train car seemed colder, the morning gray a little more bleak. The next day, he was gone too. And the day after that, an entire week passed. His absence was a gaping hole in my morning. It was ridiculous, premeditated told myself. I didn't even know him, but his non-presence was louder than his quiet presence ever was. I started to worry. Did he move? Change jobs? My mind, a natural storyteller, began to spin darker tales. Was he sick? Wash? Heokai. The nameless man from the train had somehow become important, and the thought that I might never see him again left an unexpected ache in my chest. I began to actively search for him. I'd linger on the platform, hoping to catch a glimpse of him on a later train. I even found myself glancing into coffee shops near the station, a foolish hope guiding my steps. It was then I realized how much this stranger had anchored my routine. It wasn't just about a crush anymore. It was about a connection, however small and silent, that I had taken for granted. The city suddenly felt vast and anonymous without my one familiar face in the crowd. The second week of his absence, I decided to do something. It felt crusty, a little bit stalkerish. But I had to know. I remembered the book he was reading the last time I saw him. It was a fairly obscure title, a collection of poetry with a distinctive blue and gold cover. He'd been on the last few pages. It was a long shot, a desperate, flimsy clue. But it was the only one I had. That weekend, I spent my Saturday hopping between local bookstores, a place I imagined he would frequent. The first few were a bust. The employees gave me sympathetic but clueless looks. I was starting to feel foolish, chasing a ghost. I almost gave up, but there was one last place on my list. A tiny, cluttered shop tucked away on a side street, smelling of old paper and dust. It was exactly the kind of place I could picture him in. I walked in, the little bell above the door chiming. I described the book to the elderly woman behind the counter. Her eyes lit up with recognition. "Ah, yes," she said, her voice raspy. "A beautiful collection. A young man was just asking about the poet's other works last week. Said he'd finally finished that one." My heart leaped. Did he say anything else? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She thought for a moment. He mentioned he was heading out of town for a bit. A family matter, I believe. Said he was looking forward to coming back to his quiet mornings. Relief washed over me so intensely I felt lightheaded. He was okay. He was just away. He was coming back. The world seemed to click back into place. The woman smiled knowingly. He's a regular. Comes in every few weeks. A lovely, quiet soul. Reminds me of my late husband. I bought a copy of the poetry book, my hands trembling slightly as I paid. I spent the rest of the weekend with his book, reading the words I imagined him reading, feeling a little closer to the man on the train. The following Monday, I walked onto the platform, my heart a mix of hope and trepidation. The train pulled in at 7:12, and there he was, standing in his usual spot, looking out at the city. My breath caught in my throat. He looked a little tired, a little more somber than before, but he was there. I got on the train, my feet moving on their own. This time, I didn't go to my usual seat. I walked down the aisle, the new book clutched in my hand, and stopped right next to him. He looked up, his eyes widening in surprise. I held out the book. I noticed you finished this one, I said, my voice barely a whisper. I thought you might like to know the poet has another collection. It's really good. A slow smile spread across his face, transforming his serious features and lighting up his eyes. It was the first time I'd seen him truly smile, and it was breathtaking. Thank you, he said, his voice deeper and warmer than I had imagined. I was just wondering what to read next. He gestured to the empty seat beside him. My name is Arthur, by the way. I sat down, my own smile finally breaking free. I'm Clara, I said, as the train lurched forward, starting a new journey, a new chapter for both of us. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.